Hey everybody, right on time today. I hope everybody had a great weekend. My weekend was pretty good. Today I'm feeling a little tired, but I think we'll be fine. Got some... First of all, you may have heard of a game or something called a game jam called, well, it looks like Ludum Dare, but I think you actually say it Ludum Dare or something. I'm not sure, it's Latin, but not this weekend, but next weekend I'll be making a game in 48 hours starting Friday night, and I'm going to try and stream as much of it as I can. So before it happens, the week leading up to it, you get to vote on the theme, and so I figure once the actual votes come out, I'll stream my votes there. But for now, you can, for example, veto themes you don't like. It's not interesting, but I guess that's okay. Pixel. I'd say no, because that's an art style, not a theme. Oh, I don't want meme games. Sorry. Oh, that one seems to be up there very often. It's fine. I don't know, I don't want annoying games. It's a bit specific, but okay. That's a genre. Oh, I don't know how you pick a game about that. Again, genre. That's too specific. But anyway, you get the idea. Let's do a couple minutes of these every once in a while. But yeah, let's get to the actual, closest to the actual game. So last week I had finished doing the end of turn scripts, and they work for the most part. But it's difficult to test them because we need to add the end of turn netcode. Where's the match controller? So basically at the end of a turn we need to send our code to the server, and because right now once you have a turn the game just freezes and doesn't do anything because it's waiting. Well, basically we just leave it right here and the next turn doesn't start. So alright, so on action received, okay, this is like forwarding the action the other player took. Okay, so how did we can kind of copy what I did in the, where is it, the loading manager, because it's basically the same thing as these loading state messages. Okay, interesting. So it doesn't like ever clear them except when the server gets disconnected. Oh, and it clears them once they... That both happens. It should probably clear Also when it receives this error. I feel like we should add a timeout to them, sort of. So they don't stick around in the server forever. And the problem with that is that, well, I guess a game could just, or a client would just send the loading message once and then just refresh every once in a while. Either that, or we could have the server try to keep like a more general state of like where it is. Like, is it trying to load right now, or is it in the game? I don't know. Yeah, I think the best thing to do is we just need to add a timeout. So let's see. So in that case, I should probably have a callback here when one player, when one connection's data gets removed. Okay, so this will say let's just call it on timeout. Oh right, I guess I'll move this up here. Okay, so what this does, it automatically clears it right there. I guess that's fine. Okay, so it would go right here. If on timeout does not equal null, then on timeout we'll send the connection ID. Alright, so now we should update this loading manager. And this would be game state refresh. All right. And then state refresh on timeout. There we go. So now, yeah, when this connection times out, then we remove the game state that was associated with it. player notified ready. And I guess we need to set up another callback for loading game state refresh. So where is this? Right here. If they received, okay. Static. Oops. Loading game state. Oh, what would the? I think it would just be a network player ready notice. And then down here, oh wait, so this client, yeah, this is what we want. Game state refresh. Let's change out these enumerations. Alright. Server message callbacks, loading game state refresh. So on game state refresh. Then we just put this down here. And then if info.is connected, game state, what is it? Game state refresh dot player notified ready. And the message is ready, or just ready. And then also if message is not ready, then we need to remove the game state from our hash. And then also, there's one problem, like, what if a player sends the game state, since it's refreshed, but they don't actually, like they've never actually sent the game state yet. I guess in that case we just won't even do this part. I guess one problem could be if for some reason the game state times out, then the client and the, okay, so take for example the client sends the game state but then doesn't refresh soon enough so it gets timed out. Then the client would, like, we don't ever send any message back to the client saying that the game state is gone even though they keep refreshing. I guess we probably should just add that into the client. the client controller to maybe resend the game state every once in a while. Okay, and then once okay, so actually this will let us know when both players are ready, so I don't know, it seems a little hacky here to rely on this and then have this hash outside. Maybe we should try to add like some dictionary in here for extra data. Let's see. Public static class. Is it not like that? Oh, because it doesn't need to be a static class. And I don't really need this ready list either because it basically contains all the timers. Yeah, let's simplify this. So public int ID. I think I'll just put this all into the list. Which will work fine to this game because we're only going to have a small number of players connected. Actually only 2, but if you're going to have a game where many people would connect, then you might not want to use a list here probably. So let's see. So yeah, let's make a private entry data. Connections. If c.connection ID equals connection ID, then we'll return this. So entry data. So we would know if this is not null, then we know that they're telling us it's ready again. We don't really need to do this anymore. I guess we do because we're still looking for exactly 2, so. Oh, it doesn't need to go down here. So if ready count is greater than or equal to 2, so what would this be? So the new connection is null, which means this is a new connection, but the count is greater than 2. And that means that this is the third player that's trying to notify ready. So now connection. And so yeah, I guess we'll have to worry about how we'll take care of that in a second. Okay, so if connections count is less than 2, then we'll return false because both players haven't given us any data yet. Alright, so that's easy. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't need a timeout period actually, unless both are not ready yet. So actually what we should do here is, if we're all ready, we still shouldn't clear until we get the go-ahead to clear from the outside script, I think. Especially now since we're going to hold the data. Okay, so and then we'll return already. And then if his ready is false, then yeah, we'll remove the connection. Private void. Yeah, we can't use for each if we're going to remove something. So if connections connection ID equals past the connection ID, then we need to call connections remove at I. Okay, so now we'll just call remove data connection ID. What else is there? Okay, so if connections count is greater than 0, so entry data equals connections I. Okay, so I don't need to do this anymore. So we just say connection, oops, dot timer minus equals delta time, and then if it's less than or equal to 0, then it's connections remove out I, and then so we don't really even need this timer, but I mean this timeout, but I guess I'll leave it. This callback is what I was trying to say. So now we just change this to connection dot timer. Oh, we don't have to do that anymore because we set the new value right here. Okay, so the only other thing we need is some way to get out the extra data. And just say return get data connection ID S get data. Oop, wrong button. No, it doesn't know like that. Oh, okay. T object. Oops, I don't want Unity object. Okay. I'm just gonna add these helper functions. Have this. I think this has the server info, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna have to update some stuff. So we don't need this anymore. And we don't need this separate dictionary. Okay, and one thing that we have to do is now, when this returns true, we need to call public clear to clear all data. Clear. We could just call clear right here. don't think we need this anymore. Okay, so if game state refresh, true, and then the message game state. Okay, so I don't know why. Yeah, we don't need to keep the whole message, I don't think. So network game state host game state equals game state refresh, and then okay, we should maybe add so I'm actually gonna just remove that because we don't need it. So one other thing is we should so how do we, if they notify ready and they don't, and we don't send an object, because I want to support both types, so I don't want to always like require them to send an object. For instance, this ready to play does not, it's just a ready check. It doesn't have any extra data associated with it. Okay, so I guess let's have private bool enforce extra data. So basically this will just return player notified ready, connection ID is ready, and then null. Okay. And then we won't override the extra data if extra data is null. And then if enforce extra data, so if we enforce extra data, we only want to return true here if both players have extra data. Right. I think we actually need to take care of that here. So I'm gonna need to change something here because right now you can see we exit out with a false if the connection is not true. I guess one thing is that if we enforce extra data, we make sure that the first ready is always. Yeah, that's just what we should do. If we have enforce extra data onto true, then the first connection always will have to have extra data, or we'll just ignore it. Let's change this connection. So if connection data does not equal, or if new connection does not equal null, then we return false. And then also if we'll also turn false if okay, so that means if new connection is null, that means this is a new entry. So if we have enforce extra data on, then we want to also return null. So if new connection equals null and enforce extra data and extra data is also null, then we want to return false. So now this will go through if either extra data is false or extra data does not equal null. So let's actually say bool has extra data. Okay, and then again we will only set it here if it's not null, because we might refresh ready and we just want to keep the old data, so I think that's right. Alright, so now we're guaranteed if I set game state refresh to force extra data to true, then we're guaranteed that we'll have both of this data. So now we don't have to check if it's null or not. Okay, so that's why we actually sent back the message, because I thought this has state. Okay, and now we can clear game state refresh. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about that. Okay, and also we need to clear it this manually now. I guess I should make sure if I use this ready check manager anywhere else. Lobby initialize, what use is this? Oh, okay. Interesting. So, ready, check, clear. So all right. Okay, so that's no, it's all up to date. Okay, so the only other thing I have to do to fix this is that on the client side of things, it needs to send the ready messages every once in a while. So this would be game state refresher. And all we have to do here is we need to have an option to, let's see, private bool initial wait period. Oh, not bool, it's float. And this will be, for example, we won't want this to send right away because we would have just sent the game state. Send. And we'll just have it start at 0. Alright, so let's see. Where's the timer for this? Timer, okay. Right, so if let's just do it this way. If resend period is greater than 0, okay, so I think this is rather simple. If the resend period is greater than 0, then we just set the timer to the initial, oh actually, it's initial wait period. And then once this timer goes out, then it calls send and then it starts using the resend period, so yeah, that's all good. So here's the client ready sender. Also here, game state refresher active equals false. So game state refresher send game state refresh. And then we'll also initial wait period to 5. Or I'll just do this game state refresher. Why is it? Okay, so yeah, this will always be true, so we don't need to send that. So network tracker, send, loading game state refresh. Okay, Okay, so I think that's all good. I guess we might as well try to start up the games just to make sure these changes work. It takes a little longer the first time of the day. Alright. So for example, yeah, the client will keep saying it's ready every 5 seconds, which is what we want. Okay, so it did go all the way through. Good. I guess we could just look back and see what messages were sent around. A bunch of stuff about loading assets. Yeah, so lobby exit. Next network function is sent here. Loading game state send. Client message. Okay, so yeah, on the very same frame. That's because it's a local client. It said that it was ready, and then a few frames later, the server got a message from the other player, so it told everybody to exit. Okay, that's interesting. The client sent this as well. Unreceived exit. Unreceived exit. So why does it send? I think it was telling it that wasn't ready anymore, so it's not harmful, but ready state change. Okay, so yeah, what it just set to false here. Okay, so yeah, you don't actually need to send this. So I think a better thing to do would just say ready sender active equals false. Also, we need to turn off the game state refresher. But actually, I forgot to even activate it, so it should have been activated right here. It's true, and then so one problem I have with these scripts is that they don't really keep the game state in mind. Because I wonder what the best way to do that would be. Because I kind of like having this like separate. Let's see, so So I guess we know that when we get the, where is it? On received game state, we know that we can stop sending our own, so this code does work, but I think that for the next game we should try to tie in this netcode a little bit tighter into the client game, or to the actual game logic, so that, for example, this game state refresher would maybe keep firing until, I don't know, the loading scene state changes or something, but right now it doesn't know about it at all. And then also game state. We need to be sure to deactivate both here. I know I could just feel we could run into bugs at some point, but alright, so let's look through here. Alright, so it doesn't send another ready notify message because that wasn't needed. Game state send, okay. So it looks all good. So let's see, what would we need to do to make this cleaner? Basically we just keep on sending until we actually got the command. Let's see, so we have the game state send. Okay, so yeah, we just once we got false here, I guess we need to add another like stop send game state or something to that one. Send active. Alright, so just as a experiment, what would we need to do? So game components get or register command. I guess it'd be, yeah, it'd have no arguments, so int component keys loading game state stop refreshing. And then it'll just be command create handler equals stop refresh game state. Private void stop refresh game state. So first we'd send ready false and then set this to false. Right, and then let's see. So where is this called? The reconnection manager and then mod loading screen. Private command stop refresh game state. So loading game state, stop refreshing. Alright, so where do we call this? Reconnection manager, same game state. I guess we call it right here because we received a reply back. And then we'd also call it here. I'm going to go ahead and see right now when we set active to false, we don't ever like call the callback back. That was a little word soup, but like a lot of the code that we have, it's like if not ready, then send the message and then set active to false. So probably if. So if active was true and we set it to false, then we should call this callback. So bool was active. Else if was active. Then we call callback false. And then down here we need to call true. State refresh, so bool ready. So now I don't have to call this, which is nice. So if not ready, we don't have to do that. And then we won't change it here. We'll just wait until we get the command to stop sending ready. So a safer way to do this is instead of, we got send ready, is that once the state changes from waiting to for server reply, then we'll send this command. Alright, so state. Subscribe. New. Simple listener. Alright. State change. Okay, so all we have to do here is if, let's do it this way, state. Equals reconnection state, state, and then if the reconnection state is now, actually it's not, if it's not this, then we want to call stop refresh game state. And then, yeah, let's see, and then if it's not signaled ready, then we want to call send ready false. already do this here. Do I not actually tell it to stop sending anywhere? That's kind of bad. Oh no, it's taken care of. I don't have to have this here anymore. Oh yeah, because we don't actually handle this yet. That was in our to-do list. Okay. Well, that makes me feel a lot better. Oh yeah, I also have to do this. Let's see. That's the server side. Right, this is also sent in the loading scene, so we'll also need to add it here. Command stop refreshing game state. I can probably just copy and paste a lot of this code. One thing I do need to make sure here is that I think I do set the state. Yeah, I set it to exiting, so that's exactly what I need. Oh, except we don't use a state controller here. Oh, that's a pain. State machine. And then phase 0. Yeah, most of the problems here have to do with I was lazy when I first created this class, and the entire loading screen is just in the actual scene instead of a bunch of sub-components like everything else. So phase. Let's just go through. Set this up correctly. Okay, I was gonna say that's a little confusing there, but I see what's going on. And then I think I can copy and paste this on state change. Except it'll be a little different. Why is it doing that? So the phase state. What is the right one here? Is it start condition? Let's see. Okay, yeah, so the start condition is when we're waiting, and then it sets that to ready to play. I think. Oh, and then I need to actually subscribe to it here. phase, enter state messenger, subscribe, new simple listener. On state change. Okay, so now that's set up here. Pretty sure it's gonna, some stuff's gonna complain here. Yeah, because the lobby has a ready message as well. But we already have the, where is it? Where's the command to send this? Oh, right here. So, yeah. Let's look and see where this is. Alright, and this works, we just need to call false once the state is not ready, I think. Send ready status. Alright, and of course we have to make sure this is initialized. State messengers, subscribe, new, simple listener. On state change. And then all we have to do here is if state is not equal int. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, lobby set up exit state. Then we just say, okay, we gotta check the initialization status. And we send false. This code might, I think this code probably already took care of it, but. So already receive, exiting, good. Okay, so let's see what other errors we have. I'm missing a parentheses. Oh, so the initialization is also like this. This will be simpler though. So we want to stop sending the ready check. Okay, so I think this already takes care of it. It's a lot simpler. If the screen changes, then we send false, and that's the only time that it would ever need to stop. Well, it also needs to stop here, so. And then, I don't know why did it that way. Sender active equals ready. Okay, I don't need this anymore. Ready sender. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, this is what I was looking for, because we take care of that ourselves. Alright, so let's try and load it one more time, and now we'll finally be ready to... Oh, what's it? Okay, we have an error. Oh, I did fix this already, game. Let's not take 0 arguments. Oh no, I have it taking 1 now. Okay, there we go. So now I'm ready to go and get back to the actual end of turn netcode, which will basically be pretty much exactly the same as what I did for the loading game state. I just want to go one time through and make sure there's not any lingering messages being sent. Okay, so something weird here. Oh, well, it made it through eventually. Message ID. Failed to find local connection. The message ID is 62. Interesting. At least they're not sending any messages anymore. So what did I do here? Is it? This client send loading game state refresh. So maybe I sent the wrong message. Loading game state refresh. Let's see. Okay. I think in the server I didn't have the correct enumeration. Oh, or I just never created it. Okay, so loading game state refresh. Loading game state refresh, and it's network player readiness. And so I'm just gonna make sure. Yeah, I didn't create this twice, so yeah, I just forgot to do it before. References. Alright. I don't really need to do this info is connected because the game state refresh takes care of that itself, but whatever. Let's I guess I'll do it one more time. Just to make sure nothing weird's going on. So I'm just going to wait a second, just make sure there's no extra ready messages being sent. Okay, so one weird thing it does is that you can see right here, this code was sent from on the state change, which was when we exit out of the I'm waiting for game state. Sorry, my throat's dry. And so it sends that it's not ready anymore. And then the client just sends a false ready message, or a ready message containing false to the server. So it takes up a little more bandwidth, and it's not really necessary because the server kind of clears it out, but I think it just helps make sure everything stays consistent. So I think I will leave it, and it's been long enough and we haven't seen any sending messages again, so I think everything's good. I'm just going to open this log file. Yeah, nothing's firing over here either, so okay. Now finally, let's get back to the server. What is it? The board controller. Okay, so we have this on and a turn received, and now we just need private server ready check manager. And this is end of turn ready check. And end of turn ready check equals new. Timeout period, we'll just go with 10 seconds. And we'll want to enforce extra data on this. So what is the message here? Yeah, it's just the enumeration. So let's see. End of turn ready check. Okay, I just realized something I need to do. So for instance, if connection data is false here, is null here, then that means that this connection we don't care about, because it's not the host or the client, and so this connection data was not created. So yeah, we can just do that. Player, so connection, true message. So if this returns true, then everybody's ready. So, oh, I didn't mean to do that. So host message equals end of turn ready check dot get host. And the client message is get client data. Okay, so go ahead and a turn ready check clear. Alright, so basically what we do here is we need to make sure that the states that we get from both players are consistent. So for example, they both need to return undecided, they both need to return tie, or one has to return win and the other false. And then if one returns error, then we send return error, and then we send error back. Then we return mismatch back if there's some mismatch there. So let's see. So really we don't care about the message, we just want the state. And then we will get this. server response. So if host end of turn is undecided and client end of turn is undecided, then the server response is undecided. Else, let's just copy this. If they're both a tie, then the server response is a tie. Otherwise, oops. If host is win and client is loss, then what is this? Okay, so one thing I gotta do here. We can change this to host win and client win. And then the other way around, if the host is a loss, client is win, set to client win. One thing I should actually do, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but if host end of turn equals error, or client end of turn is error, then the server response will be error. Okay, so if it's anything else, then the server response is mismatch. Right, so undecided they have to match, tie they have to match, and then win and loss have to be opposites. And then if either is error, we send error. Okay. And then we can actually, let's put this up farther. And then network tracker send, or server send. Do I not have set up? Okay, I don't. So let's create it. Client send port. Oh, I just didn't rename the functions. Okay, that's better. So it's a new, and then state equals server response. Alright. I think we're done here. So now we need to add some stuff here. Oh, I don't need. Oh, we do need private message. Server end of turn state, which is end of turn state received. Game components get or register message server end of turn state. And then int opponent keys. So what is this? End of turn state received. And message server end of turn state create. Alright, that's all. And then we need to register our commands. So the first would be a command with this end of turn state. This is int opponent keys send end of turn state. Oh hey Alpha Gamer, how are you doing? And then create the command and then we just set the handler. Send end turn state. Alright, so move that down there, and then I need one more command to cancel the refresh. Oh, good to hear. I'm doing pretty good. It's a bit rainy today, but besides that. Okay, so stop, refresh, end of turn state. Alright, I don't want to rename, just generate a new one, please. Yeah. Oh, right, and it's a different type here. So stop, fresh. Alright, and then create this method and move it down to the bottom. Okay, and then I've gotta send the client, what do I call it? Ready check sender. This is the end of turn ready check. And we send periods 5. This is send end of turn ready refresh. I could just do this, how about? I need to... Actually, did I ever set this initial wait period for anything? Because it does need it on the game state. Okay, I did. Right here. Equals... I'll just set it to be the resend period. Okay. So this is end of turn ready check. Active. I'm gonna set that and that'll take care of everything. Alright. So here we call network tracker. Send. Okay, so here we actually send it. Yeah, this is actually different. We had it right before. Stop sending. Turn refresh. Yeah, I want to finish this up before the end of the stream. So I am going fast, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop me. Alright, so here we just say end of ready check. Active equals false. And this actually needs to send the message. So it's client send. Oh, I need to do one more here. Turn refresh. Okay, I don't have this set up yet, so I'll wait a second. Okay. State equals state. And then we need to set the turn ready check active to true. Okay, so now in network tracker, I just need one more message here. Refresh, forward end of turn, refreshed, and this is just, oops, network, player, ready notice. Okay, I did that kind of weird, didn't it? I was hoping it would create the delegate for me, but it doesn't look like it. So this is network, player, ready notice, and then I need to create a callback here on the server side. Tracker, server, message callbacks equals on end of turn refreshed. I did not capitalize this how I want. So all I do here is I call the end of turn ready check okay, and this will take care of deleting all the data if they say they're not ready anymore. Okay, so I didn't create the function to send that yet, so send the refresh message and player, oh wait, it's network first, network, player, ready notice. And so now I just need to call it here. Tracker, client, send, end of turn refresh, and ready equals active. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Because I set the active here. I just need to rechange this to ready, or rename this to ready. Okay. Just checking the function names. I think it's all set up. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the actual game object. Okay, so I have the board controllers created. So now all I need to do is go into the match manager and have it actually set things in motion. Okay, so what it needs here is, does it? Okay, this, yeah, it sends us out when there is a game over. So it has a command, and it sends the end of turn state. And then it has another one to stop fresh end of turn state. Get a register command. So now I just gotta get these command objects out of the component registry. What is this? I'll just copy this for the other one. Stop, refresh into turn state, and then I will need to subscribe to the messenger when we actually receive it. Okay, these are actually game components now, so that means we can't just subscribe here because our listener will stay in there when we exit this scene. So we need to scene activatable list add. So this janitor will take care of that for us. Trying to remember what the type here is. I always forget this. Maybe just iListener. And it's a server end of turn state. So scene game get, oh wait, scene game components get or register message turn state, and then int component keys end of turn state received. Okay, and then just gotta create it here. Ooh, that's long. And then the new listener, new simple. On received end of turn state. I'll move this down here. Okay, so we have this, we have intro. So this is like the overall state. I think this will make a sub-state in here. Public enum. Let's see, I guess turn state none. Choosing, and then sent to server. Okay, I think that's, yeah, we'll basically just keep switching between these. state machine. I don't think we'll need to register this. So turn state equals new. This will be just for internal use. Use simple listener. Forgot a parenthesis. On turn state change. And this will basically use, like I did previously in other scenes, to stop sending the network message. So if turn state does not equal, or let's see, we need to do it the other way. State sent to server. Then we say stop, refresh, and a turn state send. That just makes things easier. We don't have to worry about it ourselves. And then turn state equals and choosing I don't know, maybe I should put this, well, I don't know, we'll see if something else wants to use this state machine, then I'll put it in the game components. Alright, so now we got game over type, and we just, this part's pretty simple, we just send it. Send, well, I should have said the state before that actually. Okay, so it's different. And we need to transform this to the end of turn state. State. I guess the default will be error. Okay, so switch over type. Alright, so first player wins if board, oh, we don't have the board, okay. Let's find all references. I just want to get the, yeah, this part. That it just always gets the new board instance. So if board dot local player order equals first, and over type equals, oh wait, end of turn state is when, otherwise it's loss. And then we'll have the same thing for second player wins, except it's the other way around, obviously. Let's see. Okay, and tie, we just set it to tie. And then I think any other thing we'd set it to error. Let's go ahead and print out the end of turn state. set turn state to int. Alright, and so now when we receive this, this will tell us if it's the game over or not. I have this game over type. Where is this defined? Okay, yeah, this should actually be I should change this to maybe, well, I guess that's fine. I'm probably getting ahead of myself. I need to, when we figure out how I'll do the end of the game screen. Game over message. Because we should have an extra public enum game or game end type, and so we would have win, loss, tie, error, basically. I guess cheat. Well, I don't know. Right, so when we receive this, then we say set turn state to choosing. Alright, then switch server state. If it's still undecided, then we would send this next turn command. Alright. Let's host win. Basically, if it's anything besides undecided, then we'll need to exit the game. So that might be an easier way to do this. Server state equals undecided. Then next turn command send, else move this here. So we'll want to have the end screen, what do they call it? Game end type. Then end type. Oh, that's wrong. Okay, so here the host wins, so if the board dot is so we know for host and the local player information. So private local player information. or okay, scene, game, components, get or register, keys, local player information, local player information, create. Okay, so if, I guess we'll say int type equals local info is host. Okay, so then the int type would be win, otherwise it's loss. So opposite here. And then tie and type equals tie. Okay, and then we have error and mismatch, which I think will just, yeah, I think anything else will just handle the same way for now. So in type equals error. But I guess we can go ahead and print what we get. Alright. So then send, I think up here I have the game over message, still sends this game over type, but instead we need to send a game end type. And let's change this to game end. Okay, so game over message, send end type, and then we'll set the, what is it, current state to int, match state. Okay, so I need to have another one, end. Change the name of this state machine also to the match state. Alright, so I think that's all set up. I guess we can move this out here, because most of the times we'll get undecided. Yeah, so that's everything. Let's oh, there's an error somewhere. Oh, because we don't know the end type yet. I actually wanted to get the server state. So, end of game type. Alright. And then one other thing, since I changed this type here, let's look and see. Okay, no, so nothing else uses it right now, so there's not going to be any type mismatches. This file, build and run. Okay, so now hopefully Okay, so objects not set to reference. To get, yeah, same thing here. Board end of turn received. Okay, yeah, so nothing gets that. Did I forget to... That's a server. Okay, so yeah, I never actually set that object. Network tracker, client, message callbacks, board end of turn received equals on. Okay, so yeah, I never did this at all, did I? End of turn state received. Ooh, secret of mana again. Okay, so message. And then what's the callback? Turn state received, send message state. Okay, so we know it got sort of far. Did I get any debug messages? Okay, it's yeah, sending this over and over again, which is fine. It's actually what it's supposed to do. Oh, one thing also I forgot. Okay, well, let's just do this first. But the player that's not active needs to also, or maybe I already did that. Yeah, because when they get the message from the other player, they need to trigger the end of turn and figure out their own win condition and everything. I think I did do that. Yeah, I must have, because otherwise the server wouldn't have gotten 2 messages. Okay, so sent error. Game over type none. End of turn state type error. Oh, okay, I know why actually. Oh yeah, this isn't going to show anything because they didn't set it to show in the log. Okay, but if you look in the output text, you can see end of game type error, server end of reply error. And messages. What did it send? End of turn state. Yeah, game over type none. Okay. And the reason is because. That's not right. Streaming assets, chess mod. We just return. Oh, I do return the undecided state. And how come it doesn't? Okay, well, let's see what's going on. Go back up. Okay, so Lua print. I do get the hello world win loss helper, but the game over type is still none. Okay, so let's look back. We're almost out of time, but let's see if I can figure it out in a few minutes. Okay, so first let's just do a quick log here. Luga debug log Lua helper. Oh, that's not it. Return type, and then also want to print out the string here. Maybe I should do to upper and variant if I forgot. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, this should be. Yeah, let's change this to undecided. Decided. Rename. undecided. Okay, because we already changed it to undecided state here. I think that's what the confusion was coming from. And then, so if we go back to the match manager, yeah, I actually did not set this right, so case, yeah, this is a silly mistake. I think it is actually working, right? And break. This should actually not be the end of game over type, let's just say. We already have an end of turn state. End of turn script state. Okay, and now we have like 5 different end of turn enumerations, but they all have slightly different information, so. Okay, so let's try this one more time. Hopefully everything will go according to plan. But regardless, I'll probably have to stop after this, but let's just see. Alright, so again, we'll move the knight. Okay, so server returned undecided. Game over type undecided. And turn state undecided. Alright, so everything's good now. So shouldn't let me move again. Oh, how come the knight can't go? That's weird. But yeah, it should show dots over there and there for the knight, but we'll figure that out later. It shows up here, but not here. I don't know. But it's second player's turn now, so okay, good, it does work. Still undecided, and now it's letting me pick a turn again. Oh, now it shows up. Yeah, so it probably has something to do with the mouse over, because the mouse over doesn't show on the active or the currently chosen piece, so the currently chosen piece probably just is leftover. Yeah, so no big deal, we'll fix that later. Oh, but it seems like everything's working. Oh yeah, so now I got an error because it didn't let me capture for some reason. So game over type error. Does it let me? Oh, it wouldn't have shown here. It would have been open log file. I want to see what the Lua error was. End of game, let's see. Let's maybe an easier way. Show and explore. Chess mod. Oh, wait, here it is, error log. And the last one is the turn execution error and component 0 cannot move, piece exists already. Oh, so I probably just put the capture action after the move action in the script, so I'll just need to edit that, but yeah, everything seems good. Alright, well, I feel like got a lot done today, so I'm happy with that. And tomorrow we'll probably work on the actual game over script for chess, which is much more complicated because you gotta worry about checkmate and all that stuff. But it should, like before I decided just not even to do the whole like entirely correct function just because it was so specific. But I think since it'll be in a separate Lua script, it should be possible. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching and stopping by. I'll go live again tomorrow at 5 Eastern, and we'll continue on that. Hope to see you there. Thanks again. Bye-bye.